VIBEZ. The 5 phases of change. There's no personal growth without change. Yet changing is one of the things that we find most difficult. The reason is simple. No one has taught us. Or rather, no one has taught us to face the 5 phases of change. Welcome to a new video. Today, we will talk about the 5 stages of change and how to reach them without blocking ourselves. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Mind Vibes. Let's begin. The vast majority of people wait for the genie of the lamp to magically appear in their lives, take them by the hand, and make them all their wishes come true. But the reality is very different. Only when we take 100% responsibility for change does our life really begin to change. Taking responsibility for your change is the first fundamental step. However, if you limit yourself to a declaration of intent, a promise written on water, you actually risk giving up immediately. In the 1970s, American researchers Don Kelly and Daryl Conner noticed that many of the individuals who had undergone a voluntary change found themselves going through 5 phases, and in each of these phases, they had experienced a specific emotional state. Hence the name Emotional Cycle of Change, a group used for the first name by the 2 researchers in the 1979 Annual Handbook for Group Facilitators. Now let's explain, well, what these phases are. Phase 1. Unjustified Optimism. January 1st, first of the month, first day of a new project. We all know the enthusiasm of starting a new path and chasing a new goal. During these first steps, we are pervaded by a sense of invincibility, not very rational and completely unjustified. Everything seems possible to us, and our motivation is at the highest levels. Unfortunately, this phase does not last. But in these first few days, we have the opportunity, more unique than rare, to lay the foundations for our success. Here are specifically 2 practical actions you should take in the first few days of your change. Write down a list of the benefits you expect to get from this change. Don't leave anything out. This list will help you crystallize your enthusiasm and will be extremely valuable in times of trouble. Pull the handbrake. Yes, you heard right. When we undertake a change, we tend to overdo it and we find ourselves short of breath after a few kilometers. Instead, start gradually, below what you believe are your possibilities, and focus on being constant. Phase 2. Justified Pessimism. After a few days or a few weeks from the beginning of our path of change, we inevitably bump into that wall called reality. Honeymoon over. The difficulties we encounter along the path increase our frustration, and the absence of tangible results leads us to question the commitment we have made with ourselves. This is where the attempts at change of 90% of people crash. The motivation of the beginnings is now gone to be blessed. Willpower is a distant memory. The enthusiasm of the departure, we don't even know what it is anymore. Before us, we see only an arid desert where only frustrations and defeats grow. We are ready to quit, and many do, they give up. Phase 3. Encouraging Realism. Individuals who pass the phase of justified pessimism, in addition to relying on extended willpower, establish mechanisms of encouraging realism. They're the ones who begin to climb a ladder, without glimpsing the end, but only steps that tangle on each other. The higher they look, the more discouraged they get. The secret is all in the sentence. To go back to the second phase, we must return our gaze to the next step, and only that one. Here's how to do it concretely, and get to the emotional phase of encouraging realism. Think in terms of daily output, and forget momentarily the outcome. Give yourself an expiration date. Decide in advance a date to evaluate the progress made. Take stock of your path of change only on that date. Completely ignore the results you are getting before that day. Instead, focus on the individual daily actions, the outputs. Analyze and decide. Once the due date has arrived, evaluate your progress. If you have achieved it, scale. That is, do more than what has proven to work. If, on the other hand, the results were below your expectations, you will still have obtained valuable information that will be useful for you to try a new approach, to which you will assign a new expiration date. Being pragmatic, focusing solely on the next step, will help you put aside pessimism and develop an attitude of hope for your change. This third phase is the most important of all for your journey. As you begin to grind your way, staying focused on the output, your emotional state will also change, entering the fourth phase. Phase 4. Justified optimism. If you remain focused on individual daily actions for a sufficiently long period, generally 90 days, you will enter the fourth phase of the emotional cycle of change, justified optimism. Finally, things will start going right. Your progress will be more and more visible. You will have full confidence in the chosen path, and you will know perfectly how to face any new obstacle. Your change, however, will not be complete yet. You will have to cement the results obtained. How? Help others. You are one of the few survivors. If you want to strengthen your progress even more, make yourself available to those who are facing a change similar to yours. Guide this person. Spur him on in moments of greatest stalemates and difficulty. Show him with your example that it is possible to achieve profound and lasting change. In fact, you will represent the extended willpower of this person, but at the same time, this person will remind you how important it is to stay focused on your goal in order not to lose the progress made. And so, we come to the fifth and final phase of the emotional cycle of change. Step 5. Conclusion. Celebrate your change. When the change you promised to make is finally a reality, don't make the mistake of taking it for granted. Reward yourself. Recognize your merits. Celebrate the milestone achieved. It is no coincidence that every human culture has its own rites of passage. We have to communicate to our brains in a crystalline way that what we were able to do was great. Only in this way will we establish that virtuous cycle that will lead us to reach increasingly ambitious goals. I hope this video can help you achieve your goals in your life. Let me know in the comments what are the goals you want to achieve. See you in the next video.